Hi everyone, I am just going live here today to go through an exercise with you that I covered last week on my masterclass, how to clarify your cache create message. The reason I'm sharing this with you is because so many people on the masterclass actually got, oh, hang on, I'm going live on Instagram at the same time and it didn't work for me for some reason. So let me start again. Last week, I hosted a masterclass, how to clarify your cache creating message. And one of the exercises that I covered in the first few minutes of the masterclass gave so many people incredible breakthroughs. And I wanted to show up here and take you through that exact same exercise so that you can get some value on in terms of maybe your message is holding you back, but this might help give you value in terms of identifying where in your message you're being held back. So I hope that makes sense. So here's what I'm going to do. Let me just close off some things here so I have more bandwidth because it's telling me that it's not very clear. So here's what I wanted to do for this exercise. It's called a focus test. I want you to take out a sheet of paper and draw out 3 columns, with the first column being who, second column what, and third column why. So take out your piece of paper and do that. You can do this on an Excel sheet if that's easier for you or more comfortable for you. You can also do it on a Google Doc or, whatever system or tool that you're comfortable using. So under the who section, then, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a few minutes and just write out some answers to these questions. Who is your ideal client? Who is your ideal client? And maybe you have multiple ideal clients, but as you're doing this exercise, what I want you to do is to picture for one of your products or services or one of your solutions, who is the ideal client that you are offering this service to? And what I mean by that is, think about, and I want it to be as specific as possible. Think about what's keeping these people awake at night as it relates to the service that you offer. What's causing them stress? What's giving them more gray hairs or making their hair fall out? And think about those things and think about what are the pain points that they experience as it relates to that. What frustrates them as it relates to that? What irritates them as it relates to that? And think about, what are the struggles that they experience as it relates to what you offer? Because what's easy for you, based on all of your experience and everything you've done throughout your career and in your business, may not be quite so easy for your ideal clients, right? They're experiencing it as something that's it's a struggle for them, perhaps. So think about all of those things. And really what I'm looking for you to drill down on even more then is, what are some of the behaviors that you see your ideal clients, that you experience as you engage with your ideal clients? What are some of those behaviors? Oh, hang on. Instagram is doing something funny on me. It's just stopped streaming for some reason. I do not know why. Nope, no idea why. Okay. So some of the struggles that you're experiencing. So hopefully my pause has given you an opportunity to reflect and determine what it is those pain points are. And really what I'm trying to get you to drill down into is a little bit to do with your niche, actually, and kind of identifying things beyond people's demographics, because often when people look at the who, they end up really getting focused in on, it's a woman aged in her 40s. You don't need to know how old I am. It's a woman in her 40s who's a business owner who works from home and has 2 kids, right? Those are sort of demographics. What you want to say is, it's a woman who's in her 40s who works from home and has 2 kids. who runs her own business and is extremely determined and ambitious to help her clients make her business a success and have a sort of lifestyle that she never had as an employee, right? So it's things that are drilling down a little bit more than what are their demographics. Those are called psychographics. And then within that, where is that person hanging out online? Like, who is that ideal client? Are they here on LinkedIn? Are they over there on Instagram? Are they on Facebook? Where are these people hanging out? And this is really important too, because when you know who your ideal client is, and I mean truly know who they are, well, then wherever you show up and, you know, focus your efforts by way of social media, you're going to show up in the right place. And that's a question that comes up time and time again with my clients when they work with me. They're like, Deirdre, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Threads, you name it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you do not need to be on all of those places. You do not need to be on all of those places. If you have $1 billion brand with a huge team and a big budget for your marketing, well, then by all means, go on those places. But if you run a small business, you only have a few people on your team, you do not need to be in all of those places. It's finding out who are your ideal clients and what is the number one platform they hang out on. That's the only place you need to be. Because I guarantee you, and again, I say this all the time, there are enough of your ideal clients on one platform for you to be rich 10 times over. You don't need to be on all of them. You do not need to be on all of them. So if that resonates with you, let me know. Now, I know some of you are going to be watching this back later. And so what I'd really love to hear is if you're struggling with your who, let me know. Send me a voice note. I have some resources that I can share with you. Send me a message. I'll voice note you back with some resources I can share with you in relation to identifying who your who is and what you need to know about your who to be able to show up really well. Because once you know your who, it's so much easier. That was something for me. I was really reluctant to narrow down my who. And, you know, it was actually fear was what was holding me back. So I'd ask you, if you haven't narrowed down your who, as in your ideal client, what's stopping you? Reflect on that as well. What is stopping you? Okay, your what then? So your what is similar to your what is basically your solution. How do you show up and fix this problem for these people? How do you do that? What is the solution that you offer? How can you help them overcome their problem, their frustrations, their pain points, all of the things I called out, so that it's solved? How do you do that? Do you have a program, a product, a service? Do you have some sort of a package that you've created? What can you implement or provide to this customer so that they no longer experience that problem, or so that they can achieve their desire, as the case may well be? So think about that in terms of the what. And then think about, you know, what I say to people on this as well is, what's one key outcome your clients consistently experience as a result of the deliverables that you implement? So for example, in Business Accelerator, I give people the tools so that they know how to show up online, get visible, they have a clear message. There's nothing to keep them stuck in neutral. They have a customer success manager to support them so that they're held accountable and can achieve the things. They have weekly live calls so they can ask questions. So if they get stuck, they can come and ask me directly. We have a mindset call so that if it's their mindset is holding them back, well, then that's going to be solved once they have the mindset call. So the idea is, this is a solution to all of the potential problems that those people may experience. And they're all perfectly normal things. The idea is, I've created a program or a mastermind for people so that it can solve all of those problems. So what have you created for your ideal client that's going to solve the problems? And one of the things I'd say to you here with this is, you may be able to solve 99 problems within your business, but you can't go out in your messaging and talk about the 99 problems. So for example, I might talk about Business Accelerator and I may focus in specifically on the marketing, but at the end of the day, behind the scenes, I may focus specifically on the messaging, but at the end of the day, behind the scenes, when you come in and work with me in Business Accelerator, It could be anything about technology for how do you qualify leads to come into your business. It could be to do with your brand colors and how can you make your brand different. It can be how can you disrupt in your niche because it's saturated with other people who do the same thing as you do. So it's, it's a lot more than what I may talk about. But the reason I focus on messaging is because that's what people identify as one of their main problems. And it's one of my core strengths is helping people to clarify that message. So really what I'm saying is in terms of your what solutions do you offer people? What is the transformation that they experience? And really this should be one core service that solves that problem or a cohort of those problems that they have, that your ideal clients have. So how can you frame that offering in a way that highlights the transformation and not just the tasks that you complete? So think about that in terms of your what as well. And another great way to identify your what is to write your I help statement. So I help professional service providers to do what? I help them to master their message. That's what I say. What do you say? I help who to do what? And that might help you narrow it down if you're a bit stuck on this. Okay, so moving on to the why part of the exercise. If you're just joining now or just catching in, you haven't watched the whole thing, you have 3 columns, who, what, and why. And the idea is to focus in on who is your ideal client, what problem do you solve for them, and how are you solving that? And then the why, the idea of the why is to identify why they should care, why they should trust you, why they should hire you, why they should believe you, why you are the best person to help them with the problem they have, and why your solution is the one that they should choose. So the why throws a reason out. And why, I think, usually boils down to a couple of things. And I call it the THROWS acronym because it's time. Does your solution save them time? And if so, how much? Can you quantify that? What does that look like? Then does your solution support them in terms of health? And if so, again, what does that look like? Can you describe that? What are the effects that they might experience if your solution supports them with their health? Maybe it's relationships. Maybe your solution supports them with relationships because when the problem's solved, the relationships improve. So what does that look like? Can you give a concrete or tangible example of what that might look like for somebody who's got a better relationship as a result of working with you? Or maybe they get increased opportunities. For example, in terms of visibility, if you're visible online, if you're nurturing people online, that may present opportunities. People might start to see you as a thought leader, so you might get invited to speak on somebody's podcast, somebody's YouTube video, maybe even on a TV show. Maybe you get invited to feature on the cover of a magazine, or maybe you get invited to be in Forbes, who knows? But when they take these actions, maybe when when people experience these problems and they avail of your solution, then what is the outcome? Is there an opportunity? So are you helping them with time? Are you helping them with their health? Are you helping them with their wealth? Or relationships? Are you helping them with their opportunities? Or maybe it's wealth. Maybe they make more money. Maybe they save more money. Maybe they identify ways to improve their wealth overall. What does that look like? And the final one is status. And status, I think, is one that really often gets overlooked. But I know if my husband's watching this, he'll kill me. But basically, is that it's keeping up with the Joneses. Does the front of the house look as good as the neighbours up the road? Is the car clean? When I'm out driving it, is the car as clean as the neighbours up the road? And it is a little bit around that, the front of the house and what does it look like compared to everybody else's. And status can be as well availing of luxury items. Maybe it's elitist to own a Rolex. Maybe it's elitist to stay in a 5-star hotel. Maybe that says something about you. Or maybe it's to do with the brand or make or model of your car, for example. So certain things come with a status. And when people have that sense of status, it makes them feel a particular way. It might make them feel more sophisticated. And so it all boils down to why they should care. And that could be to do with quality. There's so many different ways to look at it. And because I'm speaking to multiple of you right now, you're going to be potentially have different things that you help your clients with. So think of the THROS acronym: time, health, relationship, opportunities, wealth, and status. Why should your customers care in relation to one of those throws? And why is your solution better than anybody else's? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to Manchester this Wednesday. I'm flying over to talk about why branding matters, right? And one of the things that that comes up is, who am I going to fly with? Am I going to fly with Ryanair or Aer Lingus? And which one will I choose? Now, 9 times out of 10, I would choose Aer Lingus every day over Ryanair, but actually I'm choosing Ryanair. Why? It's because the time of the flight is more convenient for me. It's not about the cost. That is irrelevant at this time, but it's the time of the flight that's convenient for me. But generally, maybe it's status that I usually would choose Aer Lingus. But again, it's just to highlight this to you. Ryanair's solution is not any better than Aer Lingus's, and vice versa. But the time is why I'm choosing it. That's why I care right now. So as an example. And the other thing, just to challenge you with, or get you to reflect upon in terms of your why, is what's truly unique and different about you and your business. And often when I ask questions like that to my clients, they typically say, well, Deirdre, we go the extra mile. We really care about our customers. We're passionate about our customers. Well, let me tell you here and now, your customers fucking expect that. They expect that you go the extra mile. They expect that you care about them. They don't give a shit if whether you make money or you don't. They don't care about that. They only care about themselves. And if you can't stand out and be different in some way other than we go the extra mile and we really care about our customers, well, my friend, I'm sorry to tell you here and now, but your business is not going to succeed long term. Harsh, but true. Everybody expects that you will go the extra mile, irrespective of the type of business or service or product that you provide. That is just nature right now. It is not enough to compete on customer experience alone. It is not enough. And if that's what your business is about, you need to find or identify other ways why people should care. And I guarantee you, they're there. You're just not talking about them, or you don't recognize them because they're so second nature to you. So customer experience is important, but it's not the only reason that people should choose you. So again, if this is something you're struggling with, or whether it's the who, as I say, send me a message. I'll voice note you back with some resources in terms of how you can narrow down or nail that who. If it's the what, I'd really love to hear from you as well, because at the end of the day, the what is your core offer. It's the solution. It's that transformation that you have. And that is something, again, that I have resources on that I can support you with and send to you. And if it's your why, sit down and take the time to go through that THROS acronym: time, health, relationships, opportunity, wealth, and status, and identify which one of those are you helping your clients with, and really drill down and keep asking, why is that important? Why is that important? Why is that important? Why should they care? Why should they care? And more often than not, what I see happening with people in their messaging as well is that once they start to talk about their messaging, they typically end up actually talking about themselves and their own business. It's not why it matters to you. It's why it matters to your customer, right? And it's being in their shoes. It's actually called mindsight. It's a psychology term where you step into the shoes of your customer and you look at things from their perspective. And that's what your messaging should really be about. It's the who, what, and why. So send me a message. Let me know which one you're stuck on. I'm going to send you some resources or a voice note with some guidance on how I can offer you some free resources to help you move beyond that. No more stuck in neutral, my friends. And yes, thank you. And next time I'll show up with one of my RPM strategies, maybe. Let me know what you think. Thank you again. Bye-bye.